So we just take a step from HTML, and I want to welcome you to this video where I'll be showing you web development, and we'll be taking it series by series. I'll be walking you through the entire process of creating a website and making it dynamic enough. Without further wasting much of time, let's just get started. So what does HTML, sorry about that, what does HTML means? HTML means hypertext markup language. It's a kind of language that we use to write mostly in the website. We use HTML to organize, to push our thoughts out there. For instance, I'll still be showing you all that. Let's just glance through it. So HTML are in series. So what do we need to know about HTML? There are some basic tags in HTML that we need to know. There are tags, there are elements, there are attributes. HTML element. This represents an HTML structure and generally consists of for a start and a end tag, which means that it has the start tag and the end tag, just like open and close. If you open it, you close it. So that's that about that. And we were given an example here that we have the paragraph, we have the opening paragraph, we have the element, and we have the closing tag. So let's proceed. HTML tags it is used to start and end an element, just as you have seen up there. So that's just the way it is. End tag consists of a closing. Meanwhile, it has an opening, which is the opening right here, and the close right here. I hope you can see where my cursor is. So that is that about that. End tags consist of an opening angle bracket followed by a forward slash, then the element name, and a closing angle bracket. That's that about that. So let's proceed. HTML basic tags and still element continuation is that HTML attribute. We define a property of an element. It is on the form of quoted attributes is equal to value. So these are the examples that as time goes on, when we start the real practical, you will see what I'm talking about. So let's proceed. We have the HTML boilerplate, which is the HTML open and close. We talked about opening and closing tag. Opening, this is the opening where my cursor is, and this is the closing. So this defines the whole HTML document, and followed by it we have the head. So the head also is an element, is an HTML element because it has an opening and a closing tag. So the head is it has an opening tag. The difference between both of them is just the forward slash that is constituted at the closing tag, which is opening bracket, then forward slash, then the head, then the closing. So it can include script, instruct the browser where to find the style sheet, provide metadata, and much more. So that's that about that. When we start the full practical, you will see everything. So moving on, we have the body. So here is the body. Also, the body also has the closing tag as well. So the body define the body of an HTML document. For instance, let me not jump that. So the body of an HTML tag is where we have if you are familiar, we have the about us page, the services page, and the like. So that's just a glance of what it is. Then title. The title, we have the opening and the closing also. So this defines the title of the document. Then we have the paragraph. The paragraph, I showed you the paragraph up there first, but here it it is denoted with P, and it's always the same. The difference between them is just that the forward slash at the closing tag. So this one, what it defines a paragraph. Then we have an header. This is each one. We have different. We have 1 to 6. We have header 1 to 6. This defines the header, the heading of a page. So let's proceed. An example is HTML. Okay, these are the title, the opening. I made mention that the title, opening and close. The difference is just the forward slash. So this is the HTML, and if you notice where my cursor is, this is the opening. We use it to open an HTML document. Then after this, you'll be asking that where is now the closing of this. The closing is here at the downside. When we jump in, you will see everything. After this, we need to give it an header so that it can contain that. The header is where we have the navigation bars, we have the header images and the likes. So that's that. It has an also opening and closing tag. This is the header, then the closing tag, the opening tag and the closing tag. Head is just the forward slash, that is the difference. Then we also have the title. The title, it gives it a name of whatever you are working on. So the title, my first web page. Then we now gravitated to the body. The body, as we talk about, is where your content is gonna be. So the body also has an opening, it has a closing. So this is the body, then body opening and close, opening, close. So that's that about that. We now have within the body, we now have our hello world, which is in the paragraph format, which is in paragraph element. So that also is an opening and closing tag, is an element too. An opening and closing tag, then we have an element in between them. So that's that about that. Let's just move straight into practicals instead of wasting much of our time talking too much on that. So let's just move. The first thing that you need to do, sorry about this, the first thing that you need to do is before you get started, you can create a folder on your desktop that we call folder. You can title it whatever that you want to title it. Let me just say tutorial, website tutorial. So this is it. Then let us proceed to our next move. We have different kind of different kind of editor that you can use to code. We call it code editor. For example is Sublime Text. Example is VS Studio. Example is Notepad. But I want to, let me take this off. Yeah. So, but I want to introduce you to the platform that we are going to be using for our own class, because VS Studio is the most standard that people use, that we use most to code, but you still need to be familiar with a lot of things before you jump into the VS Studio, the Visual Studio Code. So I'm presenting to you, we are going to be using Notepad++. So to do this, you would head over to your Chrome store and you will download Notes Plus. Let me put that for you. Notepad+. Notepad plus plus. So this is it. Head over to the website. Then you can choose the latest of the one that you wish. So basically, this one you can just go for this one. It has an auto update. Once there's another update that comes out tomorrow, it will automatically update itself. It will give you a notification that this would you like to update this software. The reason why they are updating it is because so that it will be up to standard. So you won't be coding and you'll be facing issues with some codes not showing up or showing up in a disordered manner and the like. So that's about that. So you just click on download. But I already have it, so I'm not going to download it anymore. I would leave the link in the description below as well, so that you can get to move to just click and it will take you there. So now this is our Notepad plus plus, and this is what we are going to be using for a tutorial, so that by the time you are finishing this Notepad plus plus, this course basically, and you are gravitating towards the VS Studio Code and the Microsoft Studio Code, Sublime Text and the likes, it's going to be very easy for you to navigate, and there won't be a lot of debugging and rebugging on the app. I presume that you are a beginner, and if you are not a beginner, let's give this opportunity to beginners to learn the new ways of doing it. So this is where we are now. We have opened no, don't save this. So let me just go ahead and open a new one. So this is where we are now. And remember, we did something. Remember, we created something here. So we only go back to and save this. You click on Control Alt and save. So head over to your desktop where you created the new website folder that you wanted to work on. Let me just quickly search for that website tutorial. So here we now have our text. This we now place our stuff here. So we title it. Be careful when naming is very important when it comes to a website. When it comes to coding, you have to forget everything that you have known so far, and just focus on the real deal. You get it, because contrary to what you are taught in school, English, just put English aside, and this is coding. This is code. It's code that is going to be doing most of the work, and if the system does not understand what you are talking about, is going to flag you as an error. So use a small letter mostly when you are naming your pages. So we say index dot. Now here are the normal text. You can click on it, then you look for hypertext markup language. You can click on the H to take you there. So here we are now. We have the hypertext markup language here, index.html. So you click on save. So now you click on save. We have successfully created a HTML page, and what is left for us now is to work on our boilerplate. And that is going to be, you remember we talked about it, that's going to be HTML. Closing. It has an opening and it also has a closing also. So we open it. Then if you remember, I talked about the difference between them is just /. Then you write the same HTML. then you do what? You close it. So this is what we have right here. So this is the first thing to do. So then after this, followed by the head. Basically, the next that we have right here is the head, as I've said earlier. So same thing applicable. Let me just copy this. So here is the head. And don't forget, I talked about the head also has an opening and a closing tag as well itself. So here we have it closed. So here is the head. So now don't forget, under the head we now have what we call the title, and before the title there are some other things that we call a metadata, where we have all the necessary some necessary information, like when people search your website, the tags, the description of your website and the like. So that's that about that, and we use meta to represent that. Meta cha key. Don't forget we made mention that use only small letter all through. So after this, moving on, we have the add. And even from here too, you check the encoding. See, UTF, but UTF-8 is the most standard that we are going to be using. So don't forget, we close this. These are just metadata. We are going to be discussing a lot about it as time goes on. So moving on, we have the title. This is the title. No, sorry, that's gonna be in small letter. Title. So also it has its own closing. Title closing. So now on the title we can have what we call my first web page. So this is it. I don't want to rush you, because once you can get the foundation of this work, you are going to exceed well and better at it. So I don't want to rush you. So now this is a HTML boilerplate that we have. Let me add the doc type. Doc type dot html let me do this. So this works too. So now that we have that, we can proceed. If I close this, then I open this. Let me bring in the page so that you can see. So now this is our page. It is called the first web page. now this is where we are going to be working, and we are going to be doing everything that we are going to be doing, so that we can get all our balancing right. And here is where I'm going to be showing you all the hello world, all the necessary stuff that you need to know. So let's proceed to sorry about that. Let's proceed to a notepad. Then at the end we talked about some uh, some element tags. Let me just show you that so that we can be on the same page. The this So we made mention of paragraph. Paragraph. Let's talk a bit about that. I'll move over back to my page. So it is written P. 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 P stands for paragraph. P. Then don't forget to add your forward slash to close the. So this is me trying to create our first page. So if you save this and you go ahead and refresh, you will discover that you now have the words now written here. So this is that about this. So now let's move on to another one that we have as elder that we talked about. It is represented as h1. Let's put h1, then another h1, then close it. Don't forget to put the forward slash, because that stands for it. Then say my name is Joseph. So this is that. Let's proceed to, let me close this. As time goes on, we are going to talk a lot about this. This is the back end of don't let us go there. As time goes on, would talk about that. So this is the first page. If we refresh this, you now have my name is Joseph. So this my name is Joseph. If you notice that this Joseph is even in small letter, now let me go and change it to capital letter, and save it, and come ahead and refresh it again. Refresh again, it automatically changes to Joe. And if you can see also that that even though this is paragraph, this is an heading, both of it is not even the same, because they have different functionalities and how they operate. This is me trying to code. This heading is written in H6. As time goes on, we'll find out H6. This is written in H1. So the paragraph is written in H6. Why the heading is in H1. So if I copy this now and I duplicate it into 6 other places, then I change it to H1, H2, H3, H3, H4, H4, H5, 5, H5, then H6, H6. Then I save it, then I return back and refresh. that you're going to see that as you can see now we have it big, bigger, biggest, or whatever it is. Now this is the structure of HTML um and heading. Yes, heading. So this is that about that, and let's proceed to others that we have. And on our slider, so we made mention about the HTML, the HTML the HTML opening and closing tag. I showed you that already. This is it, HTML doc type. This is HTML and the closing. Then I talked about the head. This is the head. This is the head, and this is the body. Funny enough, we haven't even created the body yet. Let's just create the body, because the body is very important to this as well. So body, then we close the body from here to body. So if we save this, we now have the complete home page of our work. So as you can see, nothing really changed. Okay, so thank you. And this is the basic structure of an HTML document. So let's proceed to our body. And if you could remember, I keep mentioning that it is the HTML boilerplate. We call it document structure, where we have the HTML, which is the root of the document. We have the head, the opening and the closing head, which contains the title, the links, the script. We call it meta. We call it container for metadata. And let me show you one of the examples why it is very important. Let's say we are checking Jumia. Okay, it just took me to Jumia straight. Jumia. So now here is looking to get a quality product online. Visit www. This particular thing is written in the metadata, so that it's not even visible except it comes on the internet. So this is going to be structured at the head. Yes. And considering some other metadata, like refresh your browser after 5 seconds, and the likes. So that about that. Let's proceed. So talking about that, I made mention of the body as well, which is the main content of the document. And the doc type is the declaration, this doc type that I wrote here. So that's that about that. And talking about the metadata, now that we now have the title, which is this, I'm taking my time to explain to you better, so that tomorrow you won't have a cost to say by the time you understand the foundation of HTML, you just be soaring on the eagle's wing. So here we have the title, and here is the place that we can also add the link, talking about when we are linking our cascading style sheet, our CSS. And we haven't gotten that. We are going to do that. At the meta here, we are going to add the script, and other things that we are supposed to add. So we proceed on to the content itself. I made mention of the body as the content itself. We now have the navigation bars, where we put the header. Don't forget that all these things that I'm even mentioning to is also an element. It's also a tag. It's a tag, but most of them are still opening and closing tags. So let's just take a look at the what we call the navigation bar. Navigation bar takes a lot of time, but let me just show you. Nav bar, nav, and the nav also have closing as well. Closing nav. So this is the introduction. It's showing us it's a place where we put those stuff. Let me show you. Let me show you an example so that I won't put you in the dark. Let me see an example of okay, marketing strategy. I'm just looking at one website, one random website that I can use. So this thing up here is called the navigation bar, where it carries the personal details at the header. Yes, this is it. Let me show you some other complicated ones that has a very good header navigation bar. We are going to be creating all this, but we need to understand the foundation of it. So here we have the resources plan, partner development, the login, and the get started. This is what we call the navigation bar. Now let's proceed. After this, we now have another one that we call main, and the purpose of that one is to make the content unique. Is to make the content unique on your web page. We call it main. Main. As time goes on, we are going to be using them very well. Main, have its own closing as well. So also we have another one called section. This is used to group. Section, close it. So the purpose of this one is to group to group your content. Then there are many. There are quite a number of them. We have also article also, and it also has its own opening and closing tags as well. Article. Then we do have some others like let me just show you the aside. It also has its own closing as well. Aside. Okay. Aside. So this is it. Now we have the footer. Then the footer also has its own closing and footer. What is a footer? A footer is let me show you from one of the websites that we opened rather. Let me see if this has a footer. So this at the lower bottom is what we call a footer. Let me search for another one that has the footer stated clearly. So this is the perfect example of footer. So this at the base level is what we call the footer, where it has the final information of your website. So that's that about that. We have also some visible visible tags like the break. Let's say that I put let me start from here. The break, this we call it BR is going to create a break between your content. Break. It's also closing, but you won't you can't know the effect of it yet because we haven't really done a lot. So, but as time goes on, when we start seeing them, as you can see now that let me now show you. For instance, now that we now have F6, let us use the F4. Then we now put the break here. We put the break here, but before the break, let us put an HR. We call it an horizontal tags as well. It also has its opening and closing tag. Its purpose is to create a long line which is going to demarcate between two content. So this is that HR. So this is that about that. If I save this and I show you, this is going to reflect. It is going to reflect because it will create an horizontal line there. So and sorry, if I now move closer to the next heading, and I now add let me see, I opened a lot of tabs, sorry about that. So now it is the last one, we now put the break there. Let's put the break there as well. So let me close these tabs that I'm not using. So as you can see now that the breaks are now visible. As you can see, at the two places that we added the break, and now they are visible. And don't see the paragraph still standing up there. So this is an understanding of what we all know as of what we need to know before dabbling into creating multiple pages and the likes. And let's proceed. We have other texts also. I talked about in the body too, that the body is where the your body of content, where you have all your other content is going to stand. And here we have the paragraph. Here we have we can put our links, hyperlinks. We can put some other things there. So now let's look at some of it. Let's take a look at the emphasis. It is said em emphasis. So emphasis also has its closing tags. Emphasis. So now before the emphasis, if I put and h1, then I close the h1, then I said let me just give it a random web development. Then on this emphasis, then I come ahead and say is my hobby. Then I said I love tech. Before then, if I save this, then I proceed. Then you see web development is my hobby. So this is the work that he does. He emphasizes on the word is my hobby. So let's just proceed to another one that we call the Italy. If I now said Italy, it will start to I. Then in the I, then I now had something like I love tech. Technology, and I love coding. coding. If I save this and return back, then I refresh, you see, I love coding. It made it Italy. Okay, now let us go ahead and remove the Italy, remove the I. As you can see now, that you see the way it sounds, the way it looked. Let me zoom in so that you can see it. The way. Now let us return back to our code. Then let's see. Let me save this and return back and check again. Now you see that it has changed it to Italy, to italic. That's the word. So let's proceed. We have others that I talked about. The break. Now we have the U that is on the underline. If I said now, I love coding, I have been coding, I have been coding for 5 years. So this is standing alone. It is standing alone. But if I now add the tag U, that is to underline U, then I add it in the both U, and I save it, I return back, then I refresh this. You see that he underlined it immediately for me, that because of the tags that I'm using. So we are just exploring the tags so that you can know how and when to use them. So let's proceed to another one. Let me remove this hi, then this hi here, and bring it to the back so that our content can make a lot of sense. So there we have it, and let's proceed to doing a lot of things more. Then we still have all the span. We have delete, the delete, we call it del. Let me just write everything down so that we can see. We have the mark, yes. So this is used to highlight text. So let's say I want to put a word here, HTML is used for structuring a website. So that's this. Then let us go and see the result of what we see. You see that it has highlighted it for me. So this is the work of highlighting, that is called mark. Let's proceed to the next one so that we can see we have a lot more. We have insert. As time goes on, most of the ones that I'm going to be mentioning are the ones that we use more often in coding. We have some numerous other ones, line breaks, sample, code itself. We have the Q sub, then the others. So let's proceed. We have the others that we call the table. So these are tables. We call it table. And the essence of the table is called a table container, and it is used to create a table. And Under the table, we now have we have the what we call table row, which is we call the TB. Sorry, TR rather. Table row. So under the table row, we now have the table column. T column C. No, that's supposed to be TD, table column. Table data. Let me see. Okay, now that we have it, yeah, let's put something here. Let's put I am a guy. I am dash age. I am, so let's save this and check what exactly that we have done. Okay, so that's that about that. This is that about TD. So let's just move closer and talk about the others. Then we have the form also. The form, I'm just glancing through. By the time we start the whole exercise, you are going to see how beautiful and how we can use all of this in action. So that's, let's proceed. We have let me use the break, the br to break this, so that we can have a bigger place to work. So for the form, there are still others, form tags. You are going to see how we use them as time goes on. There we have form. It's basically a container. It also has its own closing tag as well. Form. Then we have all the other form. Let me just show you this. So if I proceed over to this place, the about us page. Let me see if this one has about us, contact us, or something. Yes, something like this. So this is what we call form, whereby it is collecting informations for us. So that's that about that. We have the input tags, input tag. As time goes on, we'll see how to use everything. Input tags, input tags. Then we have button, text area. We have button. 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 We have text area. text area, text area. We have others. We have the submit, submit. Don't forget the forward slash. Then we have the radio, 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 and others. So that's that about that. If we save our work, then we will refresh. Always refresh to see how far we have done, which work we have done. So let's see to this. As you can see, what some things that we have done here, which also indicated that we have actually done something. Input text area, submit. So let's proceed. We have others like multimedia. Here we have the images, the img, the videos, img, images. We have videos, video. We have audio. We have other source pictures and the like. So that's about that. We have other scripting, frame types and the like. So that's that about that. When it comes to HTML, understanding some key fundamentals of HTML. So that is that about that. And we have really discussed mostly about HTML is the tags. Just master the tags, do research. Let me give you a website that you can use to master your work. Go to W3 School, W3 School. Then open it. Then you will read across all this stuff, how they work. Then you will be able to, incorporate that into your personal work. It's still we have a very long way to go, so just stay tuned while we figure everything out one after the other. And that's we have W3 School. I'm trying to remember the second one. The second one is not clear in my head right now. So here we are. We have the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, Java, different, name it. Click on it, then to learn it, you would be given all the necessary options. That this is the HTML boilerplate. We are going to reach the particular point that we just have to be copying, and using them. And as time goes on, we are going to learn everything that we can, from HTML to CSS to JavaScript to C# to Bootstrap, MongoDB, and the databases. So that is that about that. And I appreciate you for staying tuned. It means that you are seeking after knowledge, and do well to subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to be, taking you through this journey of web development. And I'm sure that by the time we are done, you would really enjoy the class. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next series, where we discuss other important things, the basic structure of website using HTML, Then we proceed to styling. Then after that, we do JavaScript, using and some other, we do CSS using Bootstraps and the others. So thank you for that, and I'll see you in my next video.